today's gospel reading. It's one of those gospel readings that is especially poignant when we recall, as if we could forget, when we recall how close Easter is. When we recall how close it is to the Lord being offered up as a sacrifice, as Hebrews says, a sacrifice that takes away sin in a way that all the animal sacrifices could only approximate, could only hope to manage. There's probably no surprise that his apostles want to be next to him, want to be close to him, much as children want to be close to their parents, naturally and instinctively. They too want to be close to their teacher, their master, their leader. The other 10 have a similarly natural reaction. Well, we wanted that. We wanted to be close to him forever. And then the especially poignant words that lead to what we'll be focusing on. Our leaders. He's talking about Gentiles, and that means pretty much all of us, if not all of us. Our leaders lord it over us. Our leaders, well, they make sure that we know that they are our leaders. I know we're a more egalitarian country than most, but even for us, we need only look at all the ads on television. I know I've never bought an ad on television. I know I've never had those resources. Our leadership as Christians, though, is different. We lead like Christ led, if we are to have Christian leadership. His leadership was shown in the washing of the feet. His leadership was shown, yes, by speaking truth, but by only looking on with love, sorrowful love, but love, when people chose not to have him as leader, when they chose to walk away. His leadership, or we might even call it self-assured. He had followers that made him leader. And he knew where he was leading. His mission was clear. What he had been sent to do was clear. That's what a mission comes from. It's what you're sent to do. It's your missive. For our equivalent word in English, the sent. On this day, we remember a day early the repose of one of the great bishops of the 20th century. We remember him specifically today. Tomorrow we know is a very, 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 very special day, not just because it's a great feast, but because it's our feast, the feast of the patron of our parish. And so we celebrate this great bishop a little preemptively. Patriarch Tikhon is probably best known generally for being the first Patriarch of Russia since, honestly, I'd have to Google it, in centuries though. When the Patriarchate was abolished under Peter the Great, or rather a successor was simply never elected, there was a council of bishops that would run it with a layman chairing. It's a very strange circumstance for the church. And as soon as the empire fell, in whichever revolution it was, a council of bishops gathered to elect a patriarch. That was the biggest, or one of the biggest, considerations of the council held in 1917, 1918. The conclusion of this council came with the sounds of the Bolshevik Revolution in the background. As many of you would know from high school history, there was quite a bit of turmoil in this period, and so there's a couple of revolutions that occurred one after the other. And so the Patriarch was elected, and then the Soviets took power. And so it was this man who was put forward as the one that would provide leadership. There were three people that were put forward. There was the wisest, there was the strictest, and then there was the kindest. And it was the kindest that was elected. The one who people gravitated to follow. He lasted 7 years before eternity claimed him. In that time, it was he showed himself as a confessor of the faith. Leadership would have been very, very difficult. It's a lot easier to just run with the tide of the times, the spirit of whatever age it is. It's a lot easier to do that. Instead, he had the renovationists, the ones who thought that jettisoning as many rules as possible was a great idea. He had this to contend with. He had not only adverse political authority. Adverse we think of in the sense that we have of perhaps inconvenient, not wanting to do favors. Him? St. Tikhon had a government that wanted nothing less than destruction of the church in Russia. And by Russia, I mean the Russian Empire, then Soviet Union. And he led through this. He led despite this. He led despite all of this adversity. I think his leadership that was the most extraordinary. His leadership began years earlier. He was elected bishop, probably, very young. Still in his 30s, which is very young. He was elected bishop, sent to places like Lithuania, very much on the borders of even the Russian Empire. Sent to North America. In America, he's mostly known for being the Archbishop there, given the title Enlightener of North America. It was under his rule, under his leadership, that he took the Diocese of the Aleutians in Alaska to be that of North America. He saw a great future for the church in the West, particularly in North America, where he was the bishop. He saw that despite the church in the lower 48, the continental United States, being predominantly a church of migrants, he saw that it would change over time. And the generations would pass, or not even that fast, not even that slowly. And of course, children will speak a different language. And even if they're bilingual, they will still be of a different culture. And it's the people in front of us that we are called to serve. Not an idealized picture, not a statue or a reminiscence, but the people. To serve as Christ did is to serve. If we serve by washing the feet, we're washing the feet of people, the people in front of us, people who need help here and now, not an idealized form. And he saw that. He saw the need for this. That above all, leadership is needed. That's why we have hierarchs, to be our sacred leaders, as the word means. So all his time in America prepared him to lead the church of what was the Russian Empire into what became the Soviet Union, and to lead it with dignity, to lead it with integrity, to lead it with gravitas, and above all, to lead it as Christ would lead it, serving the people as he saw them, serving the people as they are. This is a model for us, a model for us all. Few are called to be bishops. Some are called to be leaders. All are within some form of leadership or followership. How should we lead? As Christ did, with him as our model. With so many others who likewise attempted to follow Christ, with so many others being a guiding light for us. Lights to go closer and closer. To lead through service is hard. It's to put yourself at the end, which is hardest of all. When a person has decision-making power, why do they decide something? When a person has that decision-making power, it's easy to turn that into tyranny. It is wrong to turn it into tyranny. It's incumbent on us, as followers of Christ, to turn that towards service. That's all well and good for leaders in the various parts of our life where we have leadership. For those who don't, perhaps for those who don't perceive that they do right now, part of this is to support. As the shoulders grow broader and perhaps more burdened, the response from those who follow is to give some support, to offer the leadership that is able to be given, perhaps the thing to be done. You can take that off your hands. Or it's the things that need doing, let's collaborate and work together. Understanding that as a leader is serving, well, we are all followers of Christ. And we do our own best, even as followers, to follow that example. Putting ourselves just a little back, at least a step or two back. We put the self back and put him first. Not even the organization or wherever the leadership is occurring, but putting him first. This makes us all responsible. This makes us all lead in our own life, in our own homes. And above all, we be the servant of all, wherever we find ourselves. Amen.